Welcome to Petra TV. Our programs are designed to revolutionize the mind for social transformation. In this episode, we shall be talking about electioneering process in Nigeria. My name is Adamu Musa Adams. Join me. An ideal election ought to be characterized by a credible process. Between 1998 and 2018, the total budgeting allocation INEC received from the federal government is 730.99 billion naira, according to official report revealed by Daily Trust. The question is, from 1999 to date, has this paid off? Has this met its purpose? Had there be a return on the investment? Has our electoral process delivered the democracy we desire? Has it in any way given to us where we ought to be democratically? It is no longer a news that election in Nigeria is often marred with electoral fraud, violence, and sundry vice. That is why in this episode, we will not be talking about what went wrong, how it went wrong, but we'll only be thinking about how do we go forward. As a matter of fact, the last election cost the nation 87.8 billion naira with estimated 80 million voters. Nigeria's election cost higher than the 600 million Electoral Commission of India spent during the 2014 general election with 553.8 million voters. Apparently, like one of my friends will say, it's like with the violence we see, with the fight we see, with the stealing of ballot boxes we see, with the thuggery we see, do we really need to kill people? Do people really need to die? Do blood need to be shed for someone to win? Why not just give 1 million naira? That's what he said casually. Why not give 1 million naira to every Nigerian? If the president was proposing the sum of about 242 billion for same election, where 89 point, the same amount was spent. It means about 1 million naira is what it costs every voter to vote. I think that is too much. Now, the truth is, until we get this electioneering process correct, we will never get the democracy that will bring the true leadership we really ought to have to move to the development goals we had set for ourselves as a nation. There will continually be the poverty we're running from. There will be no delivery in governance. There will be no delivery in democratic processes. What are the characteristics that bring us into this state that after over 20 years, our democracy is unrealistic? Very, very unrealistic for the amount of money we spend in our logistics, the money we spend to deliver on one particular policy. In fact, it has become a norm that after every 4 years, our electioneering terrain has become a business place for politicians. And it has become the politicians versus the citizen. But unfortunately, our tragedy is the same politicians can't get their way without you. You have underpriced yourself. How will you evaluate your vote to 5,000, 2,000, 1,000 in some cases, a bottle of pure water? Opinion leaders, traditional rulers, who ought to stand to tell the people the fact by informal education and even the formal education, even those who are educated, who understand this right. What makes us fall? At any point in time that you sell your vote, you are destroying a nation, you are destroying the future. You are allowing the few, which is less than 1% of the population of 200 million people, to ride over your position of trust. It's betrayal of trust to those who believe in you. It is even so unfortunate, so unfortunate that opinion leaders could not take their stand. Long before now, even in developed nations, you don't come to a political terrain to seek to become the governor, to seek to become the president, to seek to become anything if you're not ready for service. The truth is, patriotism is lost. We can't continue this way and get the result we desire. With the millennial break and the emergence of the 21st century and the great opportunities in technology and its advancement, with the great knowledge that is available, the time is now to think, decide. We're not talking about what has gone wrong. There have been a lot of proposed reform. There have been a lot of one or two leaders coming to tell us how they can do it, what they intend doing to get it better. But the norms has not changed. Every 4 years, the market woman in my village knows that it's election time, and she's so sure as an opinion leader of a bag of rice, indomie and groundnut oil that is worth less than 50,000. And with this, she could gather everybody that, in fact, when it is another election day, you see emergence of a mushroom without direction, without objective, without goal, but degenerated to believing in the value that at every 4 years, just form an organization, get the organization to work for a politician who has come with money to invest in the business he intends doing, and he begins to think of how to deprive you, to steal from you. Your first, your self-esteem. And the second, the ability for him to penetrate through you to get to others who are vulnerable because they lack so much knowledge. So it means that the election nearing process by documentation has not fulfilled all of the policies that is regarded to make it get people informed. One, we call it electoral education. Unfortunately, our system has so failed that its first priority of educating every citizen on how each of our institutions operates, including the INEC, independent, listen, look at the irony, it's called Independent National Electoral Commission. Yet, the appointment of who leads is dependent upon the executive. So, will the owner of a hen send the same hen, and the hen complains that is on egg? Who has the egg? Who has the hen? That is the predicament of our situation. Until indeed INEC become independent as stated. In fact, I am even proposing that the same way the president is voted into power, the INEC chairman should be voted into power so that he can be truly independent. He shouldn't be dependent upon an appointment from the executive. That is the creation of the lacuna from within the Constitution and the law that has placed us where we are. However, in every document, there are counter documents. It is your perspective, your understanding, and your desire to actually have the love for your nation. I am speaking to citizens that number one, we are Nigerians, and number two, nobody is going to solve our problems but us. The human nature is designed to seek supremacy, superiority over the next man. The human nature is not far from the animals' natures in the sea world, where the bigger fish eats the smaller fish. But smart smaller fishes stray to become big fishes. So I speak to the citizens directly. At the point, after every 4 years, that you take 2,000 naira, 3,000 naira, 5,000 naira, even 1 million naira, in fact, even 1 billion naira by the privileged position you have as a leader, who people believed in, to convince them to do the wrong thing. You are destroying the nation. You're not building the nation. You are practically unpatriotic. The design of our constitution, of our multi-ethnicity, of our agreement to become one as a nation is underlying the fact that we must agree that we are one nation. And when we become one nation, it then means that our first love is the nation we believe in, Nigeria. So as a citizen, the politicians are succeeding because you're shallow-minded. You sold yourself so low. What moral justification do you have when a man comes and says, take 5,000 and vote for me, to hold him accountable for what he did wrong? You don't have any. By the law of nature, you sold your birthright like Esau in the Bible story. So the first thing that we want to speak to your mind on is to have the understanding that one, you are a Nigerian. Two, you do not have the power over the design that makes you a Nigerian. Three, the Nigerian goal is your practical objective. You are equal to the president. Therefore, there's no child that waits for the father to bring water to feed him when he's thirsty. He goes to the pot to fetch water. So if you're above 18, which is the constitutional role of adulthood, and at that level, and at that age, whatever you do are your own responsibility. You are responsible for your action. And your action, in case you do not know, is this. You are in a global village to develop as a person, to contribute to the path to find yourself as a man. There's no politician that is bigger than you. You have equal rights with the politician. He only did something different. And you begin to sit in his seat to be saying, you become a beggar. In fact, that's the lowest estimate of human nature. If you take 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, or whatever amount you take to sell your vote, you have priced yourself low as a man who was given the command to rule his world. You have failed the system that structures the standard of what makes a nation a nation. And for every nation to try developmentally towards a single goal, there must be patriotism. When you do not do this, you are unpatriotic. For every democracy to deliver, there must be an ideal electioneering process. Without a credible electoral process, there will never be a credible leader. And the question is, how long shall we remain this unpatriotic and expect the change we desire?
Welcome to the Voice Pop segment on Petroid TV. I am Israel Ojagefu Rejoice. Today we go to the street to find out what Nigerians think on elections in Nigeria. Please come with us. What do you think is wrong with our elections in Nigeria?
If you say election, you want to conduct elections should be a free will to choose who should lead. But a situation whereby people are intimidated as to deciding who should lead them, then it's no longer an election.
There should be more citizen participation in the electoral process. What I mean by that is that the citizen must be involved. They must be involved in the electoral process right from the time of campaign up to the time of voting and collation. They should also de-emphasize the use of money, collection of money. By the time they collect money, they have already sold their rights, their birthright. They will not be able to question the leaders that will emerge from such fraudulent electoral process.
There is nothing wrong with the election in Nigeria. The only problem with the election in Nigeria is the politicians. So they always want to have their way and not in the right way. They want to boycott protocols during the election time and make sure that it comes in their favor.
There is no election in Nigeria. We do selection in Nigeria because the election here are being controlled by the politician money bag.
If INEC will be more independent enough, if the presidency and other stakeholders who are interested will give them that independence for them to carry out what is right, then I think to a very large extent we can get good elections in Nigeria. But so far, I think elections in Nigeria so far has been okay compared with best standard practices. I think we are doing well in a way.
Nearly all the processes are faulty because if you look at the electoral act by which election is being conducted in Nigeria, you will discover that there are a lot of loopholes that politicians, the electorate, and so many actors in the electoral system are taking advantage of, which is hurting our democracy. As of today in Nigeria, we have what we can refer to as a transactional electoral system, whereby it's about the money bags takes it all. People that can pay to, their ways into office, people that can pay the electorates before they cast their vote. All this put together has continued to hurt our democracy.
INEC will have to do a lot of job in redefining the process of election so that the votes of Nigerians will count.
The country as a whole attach a lot of things on the electoral process. One is ethnicity, one is tribals, and that we cannot get an orthodox political science to rule, at least to make to give us what we want. So that is one of the major issues.
Welcome to the question and answer segment on Petroid TV. I am Israel Rejoice Ojagefu, and today's question goes this way. What are the problems with elections in Nigeria? You did it last time. Good luck. The first 3 persons to answer the questions correctly stand a chance to win here or herself a 500 naira recharge card of any network of your choice. Keep sending your answers to the following numbers on your screen, and please don't forget to follow us on social media like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Please stay tuned.